Oh my gosh, I can't believe we finally made it to the end. Here we are, question number 6. The area in square meters of a pond covered by an algae bloom decreases exponentially after treatment is applied. I'm going to fill out the table. All right, here, let's picture time. Let's make some little pictures, all right? It's story time, y'all. We got a pond. Here's my pond. Right? Maybe it's on my little farm somewhere. It's where maybe the cows go get a drink of water. I'll go swimming in there in the summertime. Well, guess what? There's algae growing. I got a little situation over here, guys. There's some algae growing over here. It's starting to get in my pond. It's starting to get bad. Every time I jump in the pond now, I come out looking like the swamp thing when I swim out of there. So I figure it's time to do something about that. I'm gonna have to kill some of that algae off, you guys. So I throw in a chemical. I buy this some kind of chemical. It's some kind of copper side or something. Some mineral that you throw in there. The algae doesn't like, starts dying off. And what's going on next? They say fill out the table given the area covered by the algae in square meters, D days after the treatment was applied. All right, so we got this table here. Days and area. So area at 0, what's going on? What do you think they say at 0 days we got 150? Well, yeah, guess what? That's where we're starting off at. Apparently my little algae puddle, how did I go with green? My little algae puddle's got 100, it's covering 150, what, square meters? It's covering 150 square meters and day 0. That's where it's beginning. If I was going to write a formula, they didn't ask me to, but if I was going to write a formula for this, I would say this algae as a function of time in days, or maybe D for days. Algae as a function of days equals the 150 where we're starting at. Here's my algae. It's starting at $1.50. And what's happening? We got to figure out what the rate of change is. They didn't tell me what's happening to my algae. I got to look at my table and put the clues together. Get out my Sherlock Holmes hat. See if I can figure this out. Alrighty. So look, day 0 it was 150. Let's get the highlighter. Here we go. 150 is day 0. That's where we started. It goes right there. We plug it in the beginning of our pretty little equation. And then one day goes by. We don't know what's going on over there. Day 2, 2 days have gone by now. And look what we got. We got 75. You know what this 75 and that 150 kind of reminds me of? This 75 and that 150 reminds me a lot of this 7.5 and a half. It's half of 1.5, right? 1.5, 0, 7.5. Doesn't that kind of look like 150 and 75? You know what's going on here? We've got another half-life situation. This algae is getting cut in half. Because 150 times 1/2 would be 75. So it got cut in half. So let's throw that in here. Maybe I could write the formula. Here's my rate of change. That's 75 right there. Divided by the 150 where we started with. We guess what that is. It's 1/2. So here's my rate of change. The algae got cut in half. It went from 150 to 75. Now, the thing is, it's only happening every 2 days. It takes 2 days for this algae to get cut in half. It didn't get cut in half in 1 day. It took 2 days. So I'm thinking, what's going to be the next easiest thing to fill out on this table? What should I do next? The 1 and the 3 look like they might be a little bit scary. But look at 4, that'd be 2 days later. What happens after 2 days? You're going to get 75 times 1/2. And what's 75 times 1/2? I know that half of 70 is 35 and half of 5 is 2.5. I'm pretty sure that's going to be 37.5. Maybe I'll throw it in there in purple. 37.5. You know what I did? I saw that it went from 150 to 75. It got cut in half in 2 days. So then in 4 days, it must have got cut in half again. I'm pretty sure half of 75 is 37.5. We could always double check. 75 divided by 2. Divided by 2. 37.5. Looks like we're on the money. Alrighty. What's next? We got these other squares we got to fill in. If I was going to finish writing my equation, I would throw a d over 2. It takes 2 days for this algae to get cut in half. So what's happening each day? We got this exponent of d over 2. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take the 150. I'm going to throw it in here. I'm going to put the 1/2 in there. It's getting cut in half. And guess what? How many days passed? 1 day. 1 day out of 2. 1 day out of 2. We're looking at the square root of 1/2. 150 times the square root of 1/2. So you could write this. 150 times 1/2 to the power of 1/2. You could write 150 times the square root of 1/2. Or if you had a calculator, you could crunch the numbers, but you're not, so don't worry about it. Just write it like that. How about number 3? Or 3 days later, right? We got down to 75. 3 days later, you got 2 options here. I'll throw this first one out there. Some of you might just have the kind of crazy math intuition to be like, hey, you know what? This is 75 times 1/2 to 1/2, right? Or you could say it's this number 75 times the square root of 1/2. That would be true. Or you might be the kind of person that just likes to say, hey, we started at 150. And we're going to be multiplying times 1/2 each day that goes by. And 3 days have gone by. 3 halves. 3 halves. Cool. So you could write this. 3 days out of the 2 have gone by. You could write that, or you could write 150 times the square root of 2 cubed. Or 150 times the cubed root of 3 to the power of... I'm sorry. I feel I'm just making it more confusing now. My bad. Let's leave it at that, right? Here, if you get really scared, don't worry, okay? As long as you can figure this one out, okay? Get that part. Maybe you could show me this. If you show me this, I could give you some partial credit so we can forget about this. You didn't figure that part out. So don't get too stressed. If you feel like really confused, just do it a piece at a time. Go for whatever points you can get. Show me what you know. Figure out the pattern. Fill in the squares that you can. If you can write me the equation, I'll give you most of the points. Let's see if we can fill in that table. 6b. Another pond has an algae bloom that is also decreasing exponentially. The area of this bloom in square meters is given by the function b of d equals 100 times 2 to the power of negative d over 7. Let me rewrite that for you, okay? They were being a little bit aggressive with that, I think. Let's tone it down. B of d. Here's my pond scum B, right? There was my algae A. Here's my bog B. It's got a different algae growing over here, a different pond or something. Equals 100. And you know what that negative does? That it's got an exponent of negative d over 7. That negative just makes the 2 1/2. And it's d over 7. Okay? I'm going to put it on the test like this. I wouldn't do something like that to you guys. We're not quite at that level. You got to walk before you can run. So I'm going to give it to you like this down here. B of D equals 100 times 1/2 to the power of D over 7. And let's look at A. Let's make a copy of A. Look, I'm going to grab my little squiggly line here. I'm going to circle A. I'm going to copy it. And I'm going to throw it down here so I can really keep it close. Think about what's going on with these two pond scums. They say, which of the two algae blooms was larger initially? So where does it start? Where did we start at, you guys? Did we start at 1/2? Did we start at 1/2? No, where did we start? We started at the beginning right here. This one started at 150. This one started at 100. They put the 100 right here, okay? So let's say you didn't write this. You're going to look at the 100 where they started at and the 150 where your table started at. You could get this without writing it like that. So A started more at 150. So you know what I'm going to do? I got a little answer written down right here. A started at 150 and B started at 100. So A was bigger. How's that looking? Maybe I'll put a little bullet point out front here. It could be like a little algae scum, little algae bloom over here on the left. And we're getting a mess. Get out of here. All right, what's part B? The second question here in B of question 6. Which is decreasing more quickly? All right, so when they say which is decreasing more quickly, I might say, oh my gosh, this has got a half-life. This has got a half-life. They're both getting cut in half. What am I supposed to do? That sounds like the same. Well, let's think about how long it takes for them to get cut in half, you guys. This one, it took 2 days for it to get cut in half, okay? And that's why I wrote D over 2. Because how many days need to go by? You got to get 2 days to go by before my exponent becomes 1. Because 2 over 2 equals 1. So each day out of 2 goes by. This other one, they got 1/2 to the power of D over 7. So what does that mean? That means that before I can multiply times 1/2, I've got to get to 7 days to get 7 over 7. And that would be 1/2 to the power of 1. So it takes 7 days for B to get cut in half, while A is getting cut in half in just 2 days. So once again, I got a little thing that I wrote out down here because I'm a little bit slow on the keypad. Don't want to make you guys wait any longer. I think this video is a little too long already as it is. There we go. Maybe I'll put a little orange circle out in front of this one. Here's the second part of that question. So look at your table. Look at where you started at 150. Look at where they started at 100. Try to think about how many days it took their pond scum to die and how many days it took your pond scum to get cut in half. Congratulations. We made it to the end.